We're joined now by our buddy, Odyssey NFL insider Brian Baldinger, host of the Best Football Show podcast, Insider Calls, brought to you by Nationwide for your insurance and financial needs. Nationwide is on your side. Baldy, what's happening, big boy? How you doing today?
I'm good, BT. Good to be with you here, buddy. Good seeing you, man.
Yeah, it's been our pleasure today. It's obviously my pleasure. Love talking shop with you. Now, first of all, I know you've studied Mendoza fairly extensively, and I want to get a little bit on him, but let's start with Mahomes. I saw that it was a bit of a more complicated injury because it wasn't just the ACL. So, listen, I'm sure he'll come back physically fine. But the 3-year drop statistically has been alarming. Are you absolutely convinced that he comes back still as a true star in the NFL?
Yeah, I am.
You are.
Yeah, because of his study habits, his competitive fire, his ability to see the whole field. They've had a rotating cast at tackle over the last 3 years. They've had no stability there. That's been an issue. They've had a lot of penalties. They lost Tyreek Hill, which was a huge part. They have not ever replaced him. So the big explosive plays are not there. Mm-hmm. They've had a ton of drops. Kelsey has been on a decline. I mean, there's a lot of things around him. He can make a lot of people better. They've been to, during that time, they've been to 2 Super Bowls and won one of them.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, it's been a disaster, but the stats aren't quite what they were when he threw 50 touchdown passes. They don't have that type of talent around him right now.
Yeah, and listen, I love the guy. I mean, how could you not? I'm just saying, when you throw for 50 and 40-something and, high 30s, and then all of a sudden you're in the 20s 3 years in a row, that's a drop. And it's interesting because, Tom Brady, you want to talk about the GOAT, and obviously Mahomes, I guess, still has a chance to be that, I guess. Brady, Montana, however you want to frame it, Mahomes, Peyton, all in the conversation. But it looks like Mahomes is only, great when he's got the best players in the league around him. Tom Brady didn't have that.
No, he didn't. He had great defenses. Yeah, he had number one defense a number of times. But I don't really want to get into a quarterback.
No, comparison. I hear you.
No, I know what I mean, because honestly, it's just different. He's been the gold standard since he's been in this business. Everybody's been compared to him with the amount of Super Bowls he's been to, the ones that he's won. But it isn't always just about numbers. Sometimes it's just the way that you lead, and he is a great leader.
Again, love him. Just want to throw that by you. All right.
Okay.
Watching Rodgers last night, most of the throws were kind of short, wide open, but he was phenomenal. I know the hand's jacked up, his non-throwing hand. He took a few hits, but I guess no worse for the wear here. I'm not a huge believer in Pittsburgh on going on this crazy run, but, can Rodgers, still, to an extent, maybe put them on his back and go far?
Well, as long as he's playing efficient football, like he did against Baltimore last week and then last night against Miami, it's been very, very efficient. He's not turning the ball over. He's getting a couple of big explosive plays. He got one to DK last night. He got a bunch of them to DK against Baltimore. He's content to check it down and hit his running backs and let those guys do some work. And they're very good. Both of them are very good receivers. They've got a left tackle who probably is a practice squad kid, but they've got to work around him because of injuries right now. So I think, his movement has been good. He's been able to really stay out of harm's way, has not taken a lot of hits, still will get rid of the ball lightning fast. Look, you get to the playoffs, if they should win the division, the level of competition is going to be much greater than what you saw last night. Yeah. And so, that's going to be the test. Can they move the ball and sustain offense against much better defenses?
I'm sure Tua's going to get a chance somewhere else eventually whenever his Dolphins career is over, but he's just never going to win anything. He's got a lollipop arm, and he's just not that good.
Yeah, no, I mean, his weaknesses show up every year,
Yep.
In what he can do. And, honestly, when you've had the type of injuries he's had and the concussions he's had, I don't think we'll ever forget seeing him on the ground, and his whole body was just, in spasm.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us have ever seen anything like that.
Scary.
Those are some severe concussions right there. So, I think he's a limited player because of his size and his arm. And that's just all quarterbacks, not just Tua.
Yeah, we're talking to Odyssey NFL insider Brian Baldinger here on the Fan, of course, BT with you. Insider Calls brought to you by Nationwide for your insurance and financial needs. Nationwide's on your side. I got to read this. Sal's been reading this for years, so first time I even looked at the copy, we got through it. What in the world is going on with Joe Burrow? And I want to get to Mendoza because we know the Jets are going to strongly examine drafting a quarterback. But do you think there's any chance that Burrow shakes loose? He looks miserable, Baldy.
Yeah, I know. I mean, look, we all sort of try to read the tea leaves on that press conference last week. He's always been a very insightful, thoughtful, reflective type of guy to begin with. He's not real outgoing, but he got him in that kind of a mood. I think, look, he's had major injuries. He's missed an enormous amount of time. They do not know how to put a team together around him. It's clear they don't know how to do it. If it wasn't for him speaking up, they wouldn't have signed T. Higgins this summer.
Yep.
They probably wouldn't have gotten Trey Hendrickson done, even though he's been very little part of the team. They let their defensive coordinator walk. Like, he's looking around and he's looking at he's looking at what Caleb is doing this year. He's looking at what Bo Nix is doing. He's looking at these regimes, what Kansas City has done, what Philadelphia does. And he's looking around the league like they all do. And they go, why can't I be a part of an organization that knows how to draft, to spend money, to build and now my best years are now being when I'm injured, I'm rehabbing, I can't be a part of it. I think it's just, a compounding of all of that right now.
Do you think they try to trade him, or you think he asked for a trade?
No, I don't think he'll do that, and I don't think they'll trade him regardless.
Okay.
But look, Carson Palmer went through all of this. He was the first pick, and he missed. He didn't play his rookie year, but he went through similar things, and he got out of there. And then he had some success with the Raiders and some other places. Cardinals, yeah. I mean, he had some better days, but if you're part of a losing organization, it wears on you. It just takes you down. Then if you're injured on top of it, it really weighs on you.
Yeah. Baldy, that Bills-Pats game was wild. I mean, first half all Pats, second half all Bills. I think the Patriots are better A to Z. They meet again in the playoffs. Who do you like to win?
Well, I mean, if I would just hand the ball off to Travion Henderson, let him run for 50 yards. Yeah. The guy's got 5 touchdown runs of 50 yards or more. That's who he was at Ohio State. His first touch in preseason, BT, was he took a kickoff back 100 yards. He's a home run hitter. But look, I mean, Josh Allen was just he's just Josh Allen. I mean, I love the press conference of Mike Vrabel after the game, and people ask him, well, what do you see from Josh Allen? He's like, I see the same thing that you see. This guy can do it all, and he plays the game fearlessly, and no matter what he does, he never, and knock on wood, because we need great quarterbacks, we never see him hurt. We never see him banged up, at least for any period of time. He never misses games. He's always there. His tight ends were super successful after being down. I mean, they spotted the Patriots 21-0 on the road and came back and won. They're a dangerous team, but defensively, they're not very good. No. And they have weaknesses.
No, their defense is bad. He's a beast, though. All right, Mendoza. Listen, I don't know if Moore's coming out. I don't know what the deal is with Simpson. I know you haven't, really gotten too thoroughly into their film, but I know you've studied a little bit more on Mendoza, and I want to give you the forum here. The one thing that I'll say, and as much as I like him, spoke to somebody this weekend, and they said, I like him, quote, I like him, but he's a little Kirk Cousins-ish, which I don't really want to hear for the first overall pick or whatever. What do you see?
Well, when they say that, are they just talking about athletic ability?
Yeah.
Inability?
Yeah.
Well, I kind of like my quarterback to win from the pocket, but that's not really today's game. But there is a certain amount that some coaches would really like if they could just stay there with their feet in the ground and be able to carve up defenses. He made, 3 or 4 great throws against Ohio State to beat the best team. He has the mind for the game. He has the size for it. At 6'5" and 230 pounds, he's got all of that you want, and he looks to be a great leader. Now, how much stock people put in how fast somebody is, and what their foot speed is, and can they extend plays and be a part of the run game? Not everybody wants that, but that seems to be. Look, the NFL can only take what the college game gives us.
Yeah.
And they're giving us a true pocket quarterback right now. So maybe we should embrace it.
Is he worth, shifting around some first-round picks, in your opinion, to move up and get him?
I've never really worried too much about what the level of compensation is if he can play. Because once you get the guy, you don't even forget. You can find good players. You can build around him. I think the important thing is to get the player. Now, Jared Goff, they gave up a king's ransom in Los Angeles to get him, and he's been a good player, really good player. Carson Wentz, they gave up a ransom. He's basically out of the league. This hasn't worked out real good in a lot of cases where teams have traded up. Trey Lance was a guy they traded up and gave a lot for. Yeah. San Francisco, a 7th-round pick, was better than him. So the history says that you shouldn't give up 3 first-round picks to go get a quarterback.
All right, Jets. Hopefully the Jets are hearing this. They could use all the help that they could possibly. Although yes, I do like Muji. And by the way, have you seen some early signs from Muji where you think, all right, maybe the Jets finally got the GM right? Because I do.
Well, Adonai Mitchell looks like a real player. Okay, that was a throw. They said it was a throwaway when they traded Sauce Gardner in Indianapolis. But he can flat out run a route, and he's got everything you want actually to be a number 1 receiver, a true X. I think Isaiah Williams been a good find.
Oh yeah,
he should have had a 3rd return for a touchdown the other day. I didn't see the phantom infraction that they
pushing the back. Horrible call, awful.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like he looks good. Membu was a really good pick. Look, I mean, nobody can really tell anybody who's playing in the secondary for the Jets right now. That's just where they're at with injuries and all that kind of stuff. I'd like to see a full offseason of how they spend the money, how they draft, and who they come in with. I want to see a full offseason with them and let them see how he builds this thing.
That's fair. Yeah, and by the way, just back to the Mendoza-Kirk Cousins-ish comp, I was doing some digging, and I saw that Kirk ran the 40, I think it was like a 4.91 at Michigan State. Mendoza's more in the neighborhood of 4.7. You played, I didn't. Can you explain to everybody listening the difference in speed of 0.2 of a second, like actually during a game or during a pursuit? How does that show up on game day?
Well, I mean, in order to run, you have to think about running. Guys that run a 4.7 think about it earlier than a guy that runs a 4.9. So the impetus, is there to run. Jackson Dart probably doesn't run a whole lot better than the high 4.6s or 4.7, but he's a great runner. He runs too much. But regardless, guys that run 4.9 in this business it is a big difference in being able to get away from somebody that is, chasing you right there, to be able to go by enough time to get some. Like I would say Brock Purdy probably runs somewhere in the 4.7, and it's noticeable, his escapability and to be able to keep plays live. Same with Mahomes. He probably runs in the 4.7s.
Yep.
But the guys that run 4.9s are Phillip Rivers, they're Kirk Cousins. Yep. They're true pocket quarterbacks, and they got to win with their eyes, their feet, and how they see the game.
So would you say maybe the difference between a 4.9 and a 4.7 would be like a 90-mile-per-hour fastball versus 85?
I would say it's probably between 92 and 82.
Wow.
I think 90 and 85 is too much of a difference.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I would say,
wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
You're hitting the corners at 82.
Yeah.
And you're like one of those pitchers from the Atlanta Braves back in the day.
Maddox, yes.
Maddox, exactly.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, you're painting corners.
Last thing, Baldy, and enjoyed rapping with you for sure. The Giants aren't saying this, and to my knowledge, the Giants aren't even thinking this, but you're hearing some Giant fans say, well, the season's lost, and he's already been hurt. Just put Dart in bubble wrap and just don't let him play, which I think is an utterly losing disposition. I think it's nonsense. Like the valuable reps he can gain and what he can learn. Yeah, it's football. Guys get hurt. Would you entertain that thought of sitting him if you're the Giants?
Never. But I wouldn't call his number on the goal line. Like, for crying out loud.
I mean, come
Stop
on.
it.
Yeah.
Stop. I mean, it's insane. I'm screaming at the screen watching this going, how in the world? And then he goes out of the game, whether he wanted to or not.
I know.
But they had a little bit of help, BT. I mean, Slayton drops a touchdown.
Yep.
What is Jalen Hyatt doing on that route that the ball's getting in there? Give him some help. This kid, I tell you what, the one thing this kid has, he has amazing pocket presence.
Yep.
When to run, when to stay there, when to just parry a punch in the middle of the ring. Like, he's got a feel for that position.
Yeah.
Man, I just pray that they build it. They get him some receivers and some help right now.
Baldy, I love him, man. I really do. Because you talk about like 40 time and turn of the corner and a propensity to run. Well, that he does very well. But the other thing, and I remember seeing this very early, maybe his first game, very subtly, like in space where bodies coming out, like in a phone booth, he steps to the left or steps up and creates a little pocket. Like, he's just got it. He could be that guy.
I had this conversation with Tom Brady last year on the sideline before a game, and he said, you either have it or you don't have it. He said he always had it. There was nothing he did to work on it, make it better.
Wow.
This kid has it. Now, all of those sensors get sharpened the more that you play. Like, please don't sit him down. Play this kid. He needs to play.
That's a real football man right there, Baldy. You know what I'm saying? Throwback. That's our kind of guy, Baldy.
Yeah.
Good job, dude. Hey, listen, appreciate all the conversations we've had, both Sal and I together and me today. So, who knows when we chat again, but I think you certainly enriched the show with your intelligence, and we enjoyed having you on, man.
Thank you, and I've enjoyed being with you guys, man. All the best.
There you go, Baldy. Appreciate it. And, of course, he enjoys getting paid more than anything. All right, Odyssey NFL insider Brian Baldinger, host of the best football show podcast, Insider Calls, brought to you by Nationwide. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.